Fabrizio Romano gives an update on Matheus Cunha, who's set to be available in the January market. And could Manchester United make a move for him as Alejandro Garnacho looks set to leave? Reports in Italy saying that Napoli are going to up their bid to complete the Alejandro Garnacho deal. And the next few hours are hot. But who are the Garnacho replacement targets? Because there's a lot of competition for Cunha. Who else are United looking at bringing in? Because if Garnacho is sold, there will be an attacker. There was a report earlier today, covered in my video earlier today, from Laurie Whitwell that we're looking at signing one other player on top of Dorgu, working on two signings right now to come in. So who could that be? So this is your 10-minute Manchester United news roundup, where I'm going to round up all the news coming in today into a 10-minute video because it's been crazy busy of news. We're going to talk about Dorgu, we're going to talk about Alvaro Fernandez, we're going to talk about Garnacho, but let's talk about the mystery target. If you didn't watch my video earlier, it was reports that United are working on one other signing behind the scenes. I have a feeling it's Cunha, but these are who the reported targets are. Manchester United are expected to move for a new striker before the end of the transfer window, with Garnacho, Rashford or Maino leaves before deadline day. Weirdly, they say Maino's not going to leave before deadline day. United have drawn up a list of striker targets. Brentford's Brian Mbeumo, Wolves' Matheus Cunha, Ipswich Delap and Lille's Jonathan David are all being tracked by club scouts. Now, I would say Cunha easily number one choice. He can play left 10, we need left-sided reinforcement, and Mbeumo's number 2, but he's better on the right-hand side. And then I would say I would go with Delap over Jonathan David, which may be an unpopular opinion, but we were talking about this on the Attacking Footy podcast tonight. Go check out their live stream, Attacking Footy on YouTube. And I feel like Manchester United used to do well in the transfer market when we went for players that have proven that were young, but proven they can do it in the Premier League. And we discussed that there have only been 3 players that Man United signed out of the last 20 that have come from the Premier League. If you look at Erik ten Hag, Eriksen was one, Tom Heaton was the other, and then Mount was the third, but he's always been injured. But actually, if you look at Cunha, if you look at Kirkes, it's a safer bet to sign them, even though Premier League players are better price. With Cunha, with Kirkes, you know what you get. Whereas I wouldn't go for Liam Delap because I think Højlund and Xerxes is very young, and I'd rather get someone more ready-made, a striker. But you know that he could do it in the league, and you know that there's a decent player there, and I think that's something that we've lacked. Mason Mount would probably be a very good signing and very good in our system if he could stay fit. Luke Shaw, when he was fit, had been a good signing for us. We just haven't had much luck with injury-prone players, and obviously Eriksen was because of age. But actually, for the most part, if you get them for the right price, Premier League players do quite well. Look at Van Dijk, Sadio Mane, Wijnaldum, more recently, McAllister for Liverpool, Robertson, how key they've been for Liverpool. You look at Arsenal, Ben White was such a key player last year. Of course, the obvious ones, like Declan Rice was so key to Arsenal last season. Trossard has been good. I do think that United should look more in the PL market at just players that we know already, because while I like young raw players like Dorgu, and I think he's good profile-wise, with Kirkes, you've got someone ready now, and with Cunha, you've got someone ready now, and I think we need someone that's ready now. And Fabrizio Romano said there's 4 Premier League clubs interested in signing Matheus Cunha. They are Forest, Tottenham, Arsenal, and Manchester United. I believe they're the 4 clubs, that have been linked to him. Arsenal, some reports say they've got an agreement with him, but there's so much clickbait news around Arsenal. They're like Manchester United. There's so much fake news around them. Arsenal are favourites. Arsenal are working on this deal, but I think if we sell Garnacho, we instantly get an advantage. And people say surely he'll choose Arsenal over United. But I think Arsenal want him to play left wing or striker. He's a left 10. He will be a left 10 in Amorim's system. It's the same as how he was used at Wolves, which got the best out of him. He always hinted about joining United. We almost signed him in the summer. We almost signed him in the past. I do think there's potential we can beat Arsenal to that deal, especially because we win trophies unlike Arsenal, even when we're shy. But let's talk about the first signing that could come in, Dorgu. There was a big meeting today with Lecce. The guy actually at Lecce did an interview saying he'd met with United today to discuss the deal. We're working on this deal. I think it's going to be done. Manchester United had direct meetings with Lecce today to discuss Patrick Dorgu, but there is no agreement on a fee yet. Lecce want a 34 million package, and United to start from £25 million. Says Fabrizio Romano. Now, I think we can get a deal done for £30 million, and I think that Dorgu, in terms of profile, in terms of potential, was great, but he is still raw, and I do think we should say to them, if this goes over £25 million, we should say to them, £25 million, we go and activate Alvaro's buyback clause, because we should say to them, we've got Alvaro there as an option, who put in a fantastic performance versus Barcelona today. I don't know if he wants to come to United. Why would he? He's playing in the Champions League. Maybe that's why we're going for Dorgu. And I like Dorgu, and I think he's a good player profile-wise, but we shouldn't overpay for this guy that's young. They're taking the mick because United have come in. Now, this was obviously footage, director of football negotiations, Matt Hargreaves, blah, 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 spotted with having met with the Lecce board. We know that's been discussed. But Alvaro's there with a 16 million buyback clause. I know that Dorgu profile-wise is a more natural wing-back and maybe more suited to Ruben Amorim's system. But let's not break the bank for Dorgu. There's Kirkus in the summer. There's this guy that could be available. Doubt he wants to come to us. Ten Hag wanted to play Forson over Ahmad and got rid of this guy. Ten Hag's profiling in terms of player ID of youth was absolutely shambolic. Absolutely shambolic. Apparently they got rid of this guy because Ten Hag rated Harry Amas more, but this guy's got the physicality. I cannot believe we let him go to Benfica for so cheap. I'd love us to activate the buyback clause. I don't know if we will. Now, I want to talk about the Garnacho news because at the end of the day, we ain't going to get Cunha unless we sell Garnacho. And Cunha is the dream. And I'm still sceptical about selling Garnacho. I think it's a rash decision. If we sack Amorim and we go back to a 4-3-3, what have we done? Do you know what I mean? But Cunha's an unbelievable player. We've got talk of Rashford to Barcelona and that moving. And we've got talk of Chelsea and for Garnacho, but it looks like Napoli are going to get the Garnacho deal done. And I do think United will sign an attacker, and I think it's going to be a really busy week ahead. So what is the latest on Garnacho? Alejandro Garnacho is now even more closer to joining Napoli after a new offer was made to Manchester United. Chelsea are deciding whether to place a bid for Garnacho, but Napoli apparently have made a new bid and up their offer. Now, apparently Garnacho has agreed personal terms with Napoli. He's agreed to join Napoli. And Napoli have made a bid. They've upped their bid. Are Chelsea going to match that bid? Are we going to get a bidding war for Garnacho? That will be interesting to see. But they're saying that Garnacho's move to Napoli is getting closer and closer. It was also said that Napoli are working on a new offer for Alejandro Garnacho worth in excess of 50 million plus add-ons. New contacts are taking place between Napoli and Manchester United this evening to try and close a deal for Alejandro Garnacho, says Alfredo Padella, and that Napoli set to up their bid and a breakthrough could come Wednesday, which is tomorrow. So there could be the Garnacho deal being completed tomorrow. Napoli are very much stepping up their interest. 50 million plus add-ons could get a deal done. Garnacho apparently has said yes to Napoli. We know from Romano and other reliable sources that Alejandro Garnacho has been on the phone to Napoli. He's had phone calls with Conte. Romano's confirmed that, and we know that Garnacho himself could be open to leaving Manchester United. Obviously, it's not going his way under Amorim. The club is trying to force him out, which is sad that we're forcing young players out. But if we'd actually sorted ourselves out in the summer and brought in a manager in the summer, we wouldn't have spent all this money on players for Ten Hag to then be desperately trying to sell the youth. It's the lack of organisation has not been great at United, but that's a rant for a live stream. What else has been said on Garnacho? Because there's even more news stories coming out. Manchester United have lowered their demands for Alejandro Garnacho in talks with Napoli, apparently. I don't know why. Unless we're confident that we're going to get Cunha and now we're rushing to sell him to bring in Cunha, what is the point? Keep your demands high. This is the January window. We've got Anthony out. Rashford's set to go. Keep your demands high. United are said to have come down from an initial asking price after holding talks today and are now open to doing business at around £55 million. I mean, 55 million base fee, but I want 60 million including the add-ons. This is the guy aged 21 or under with the most goal contributions in Europe. And Napoli have the money. They're in a title race. Chelsea are going to push them. Make them pay up. Do not get mugged off. We paid 72 million for Højlund at the same age as Garnacho. Garnacho did more in the Premier League than Højlund did in Serie A. Okay? And they were the same age when we brought Højlund, and we paid 72 million for him. And he wasn't even a starter. He was a third choice striker. So make sure you get over 60 million for Garnacho. There is a feeling a deal could close at 60 million euros. These are hot hours. Clearly, we're desperate to sell him if we're selling him that cheap. No, we're not desperate to sell him. We can get more money from him in the summer. You better get £60 million Man United or you're being mugged off, seriously. And there's also news that Chelsea are open to listening to offers for Joao Felix. I would take Joao Felix on loan, but not on a permanent. If we cannot get Matheus Cunha, if we do not have the funds and we lose Marcus Rashford, I would take Joao Felix on loan. And the reason I say that is because Manchester United are very, very thin in attack. And Joao Felix, while he's a little bit overrated, I do think he suits Amorim's system and he suits that wide 10 role. And that's why I take him on loan personally. But Cunha, over him any day. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.